In the 1970s, Jamaica is an island of contradictory cultures. Amid the serenity of the Caribbean, the country is split into two political factions. Trapped in the middle, reggae prince Bob Marley. Is Marley's influence enough to tone down the turmoil, to change the landscape, or is it too dangerous to get involved? And ultimately, is his life threatened in an attack sponsored by America's spy organization?
A new nation is born. The island of Jamaica, for 307 years a British possession, welcomes Princess Margaret and the Earl of Snowdon here to represent Queen Elizabeth at independence ceremony.
In 1962, Jamaica wins independence from England. A year later, another birth. Bob Marley forms his quintessential island band, the Wailers. As the band grows in popularity, Jamaica's political situation turns even more perilous. By 1976, the nation's most popular figure is caught in the crosshairs.
Bob Marley wasn't taking sides. His political views had more to do with the universal oppression of black people the world around.
Marley had to be extraordinarily careful when it came to politics in Jamaica at that time. To be aligned with a politician could be suicidal.
Marley must walk a tightrope between the angry parties. He's careful not to make any political statements as Jamaica rolls toward the most significant event in its short history, the election of a prime minister.
Michael Manley was the leader of the left-wing party in Jamaica, and he was prime minister. But, at the end of the day, Manley was a democratic socialist. And his direct opposite and rival was Sega, who led the Jamaica Labor Party, who were on the right.
Sega was favored by the United States, and there were a lot of people in Jamaica who referred to him as Eddie Ciega. But there was that suspicion that that was the conspiracy that was going to put Jamaica under the American thumb. Cuba, Jamaica, united we will win. The most horrible thing that Manley did in the eyes of the CIA was he went to Cuba to see how Castro had managed things.
The United States didn't take kindly to any leader in what the United States considered their sphere of influence, which is the Western Hemisphere, because we're in the middle of the Cold War. So any country leaning left was a potential enemy, and from the United States' point of view, could be undermined by the Soviet Union.
As Election Day nears, both candidates seek the endorsement of Bob Marley.
A few weeks before the big election that would determine who would rule Jamaica, there was a concert that Bob Marley was going to headline that was touted as being a symbol for believing in love and bringing people together.
Marley's idea was to bring both candidates onto the stage and have them shake hands, to show that, that it was an election for Jamaica.
And all of a sudden, around Kingston, posters started appearing saying that Bob Marley was going to do a free concert on the lawn of Prime Minister Manley's house.
It was made to look like Bob Marley was tacitly supporting Manley.
And Bob freaked out because he didn't want to be publicly identified with either Ciaga or Manley. And that's when Bob came under serious death threats.
Ultimately, both parties agree that the concert be held at a neutral site. But that decision is too late. The prevailing view remains that Marley favors Manley, making the singer public enemy number one to the conservative right, which includes the USA and the CIA. Now Bob is fully aware his life is in danger. So much so that he hires a security detail to guard his home 24/7. But on the evening of December 3rd, the guards are strangely absent.
And it was then that the two carloads of gunmen came to kill Bob Marley. The gunmen ran through the compound, shooting everyone they could find. And Rita Marley was in a car about to leave, and she got shot in the head.
Marley was hit, and his crew was also hit, and nobody was quite sure if either would make it.
Despite the flurry of gunfire, Marley, wife Rita, and 2 associates survived the shooting. But 2 questions remain. Who shot Bob Marley? And will he still do the concert 2 days later?
After the shooting, most of Bob's friends were begging him not to do the concert. Jeff Walker, his publicist, convinced Bob he should go. Bob told Jeff that he wasn't going to go down to the site without a machine gun. And Jeff said, "Bob, your guitar is your machine gun." And at that moment, Bob agreed to go, and he grabbed his wife, and they went screaming down the mountainside in the back of the police chief's car to the site where 80,000 people were waiting for them. Bob's performance that night was that of a man possessed. It was one of the bravest moments of Bob's life, to be on stage, as vulnerable as he possibly could have been. He sang and implored the audience, "Why can't we love one another?" and made this plea, "What's wrong with you, my brothers?" It was the night he went from showman to shaman.
10 days later, Manley is re-elected. Fearing for his life, Marley flees Jamaica for England. But the mystery lingers. Who shot the music legend?
I've been studying this now for 44 years. I think in the end that the men who came to kill Bob were associated with Edward Seaga's Jamaican Labor Party. Whether Seaga gave the direct order or not has never been conclusively proven. But was the CIA part of the assassination attempt? That's the great unanswered question.
It's common knowledge the CIA has a lengthy file on Marley. But why?
The CIA was worried that Bob Marley was some sort of nefarious, influence on Jamaican politics. They look at Bob Marley and think of him as a threat.
There were so many rumors regarding sons of CIA operatives or directors being a part of assassination attempts after the shooting of his house. Some believe that poison perhaps caused Bob Marley's skin cancer that led to brain cancer, and it was a particularly aggressive kind of cancer.
There is a story that someone gave Bob a poisoned boot that somehow gave Bob Marley melanoma cancer and eventually caused his death.
In May 1981, Bob Marley dies of skin cancer. He is 36 years old. But do covert actions by the CIA contribute to his demise?
Do I believe it was something orchestrated by higher powers? Probably not, despite many, many examples of the CIA doing some bad stuff. But I can't think of another instance wherein there's evidence where they would try to kill a pop star.
I was down there in '75. People had wacky ideas, but no, CIA wouldn't do it. They had better things to worry about in those days.
The CIA is never implicated in the assassination attempt, nor connected with any plot to cause the cancer that kills him. Nevertheless, they will forever be linked, the CIA and Bob Marley. On this season of Music's Greatest Mysteries, was Kiss a brand or a band? Did the CIA kill Bob Marley?
And it was then that the 2 carloads of gunmen came to kill Bob Marley.
What happened to Graham Parsons?
Graham Parsons' death is the craziest situation you could ever imagine.
Was there a real rivalry between Michael Jackson and Prince?
There was definitely a spirit of competition between these two.
Is Post Malone cursed? What's the legend of backmasking?
Do not listen to Styx because they're evil or they're devil worshippers.
Who killed Sid Vicious? They're all part of music's greatest mysteries. Only on Access TV.